Hi, good evening patrons. Welcome ramblers, adventurers and rangers to the second of this month's stories for adults. And today I'm bringing you a story all about the Green Woman. Now, in my research for this story, I've come across lots of different types of green women, and it seems to me that they just keep popping up at the moment, which is why I've really felt the calling to tell this tale. Green women are sometimes seen as hags, crones, or cailleach, is how they're said in Gaelic, and they are sometimes also fairies, beautiful, comely women, and the one thing that they always are is connected to the land in which they live, very deeply rooted in that land. And you shouldn't upset them either, which is probably a good rule in general for any kind of nature spirit, to be honest. So the green woman, the Glastig, is particularly prevalent in Celtic literature. But I think it's time to get started with our telling of the Green Woman on the Hill. This story is sometimes called the Green Women of the Hill, One Tree Hill, Three Tree Hill, but essentially it is about the Green Woman of the Hill. Not too far from here, there is a farm called Three Tree Farm. It's a beautiful and prosperous farm. It has much land attached to it and several buildings. And there is a farmer who lives there with his 3 sons. Now, the secret of this farm is those 3 trees. They are 3 sacred ash trees, and they stand on the top of the only hill in the farm. Each spring, the farmer goes up to the trees and leaves primroses at the base of each tree, and he dances with the green women, the Glastigs, that live within those ash trees. These are the source of the abundance in this farm, and if these women are honoured, worshipped and respected, then they will bring prosperity to all who live on that farm. And so that is what the farmer does. Like I say, he has much land, plentiful crops. The cattle always give birth to strong, healthy calves. The sows, many piglets in their litters. The hens, oh, how many eggs I cannot even begin to count. And the goose, well, there is always one of those for Christmas dinner. It's a healthy, thriving farm. But unfortunately, the farmer is not. For there are 2 things in life which we know are certain, and that is death and taxes. And death is coming for this farmer. As he ages and lies on his bed, knowing that these will be the last hours of his life, he calls his sons around him, and he tells them of what he will leave each one of them when he is gone. To the first son, he says he will leave 3 bags of gold, the large farmhouse in which they live, and several of the adjoining fields, including the field with the hill in it, with the 3 ash trees. To the second son, he leaves 2 bags of gold, and he leaves the stone cottage on the outskirts of the farm, and 2 good, healthy fields where he can grow wheat. Now for the third son, the youngest son, there isn't really much left. So he's left 1 bag of gold and what can only be described as a shack and some stony ground. And while the other 2 brothers are complaining and wittering amongst the 2 of them that they were not left the whole farm, the smaller brother is content and thanks his father, and his father breathes his last breath. But of course, not before passing on that warning about the primroses and the 3 women, yeah? So the sons know about this, and they know that they really should go and worship those trees once a year. So let's see what happens. Well, Like I say, the younger brother was happy with his lot. It was the older brothers that had a problem. And the younger brother, he went down to his shack to see what could be made of it. Meanwhile, the oldest brother with the 3 bags of gold, he quickly set to work spending that money on servants, men to work the land, and ways to buy new clothes and have carriages. And he used to go down to London and party all the time. Farming life really wasn't his idea of a good time. The second brother, he was annoyed that he didn't have as big a house as the older brother and as much land. And so he spent his money employing labourers to make his stone cottage even bigger than the farmhouse. Meanwhile, the younger brother, he took his 1 bag of gold down to the farmer's market and he bought himself as many chickens as he could. And he took those chickens back and he made them a coop and he sang to them and he looked after them and he fed them well. And he did what he could with his little stony backyard. Well, as the months wore on and the summer ended and soon there was autumn and then winter came and froze the ground and then the sun rose once more to thaw the frost and it was spring. And the younger son thought, I must go and do as my father instructed me. I shall go up to the 3 trees on the hill, the 3 ash trees, and I shall take some primroses. And so he does, he gathers up the primroses and he takes them up to the 3 ash trees on the hill. And as he reaches the 3 trees at the top of the hill, the sun is just resting on the horizon. It's a beautiful spring evening, and the 3 ash trees are resplendent against the sun. And he lays the primroses at the bottom of each of the trees, and he sings to them. Green women of the 3 ash trees, dance with me, dance with me. Green women of the 3 ash trees, bless this farm and all within. And they do. The green women, the glass thigs, they emerge from the trees and they dance with the brother. The brother returns home and over the coming months his chickens lay many eggs. He's very prosperous and he can eventually afford to buy a pig with the money that he has made from the eggs. And the brothers, who have been frittering their money, are starting to reach the end of their wallets. And they want to know how the younger brother is managing to be so prosperous. They decide he must be stealing from them. And so the older brother is tasked with watching the younger brother. And so he does. It is boring watching the younger brother work so hard, but it must be done to find out what it is that he is actually doing. And the seasons roll on once more, and again it is spring. The younger brother by now has a milking cow, a pig, and many chickens. And the other brothers are just confused. So, when they see the younger brother walk across the farm, their land, towards the hill with the 3 trees, the older brother follows. And he sees the younger brother take the primroses and put them at the base of the tree, and he hears him sing, Green women of the 3 ash trees, dance with me, dance with me. Green women of the 3 ash trees, bless this farm and all within. Magic, thinks the older brother. I cannot have magic on my farm, my land. And so, when his younger brother is safely back in his shack, he goes and finds his best axe. And he goes up to the 3 trees on the hill, and he starts with the one that's furthest away for him. He means to cut all 3 down. He will not have this on his land. He raises the axe, and as he strikes the tree, it screams in agony. He's never heard anything like it. But he ignores it and he continues. "Devil be gone!" he shouts as he is striking the tree, hewing it to its heartwood. But in his hubris, in his blind fury and rage, the last strike of that axe means the tree falls on him. Well, the second brother, he's quite happy to make a coffin for his first brother out of that ash tree. The younger brother wonders what on earth his older brother thought he was doing, and is now concerned that they are missing one of the glass sticks. It is not just his brother he mourns that day. And now, with the older brother buried, there's nothing to stop the middle brother moving in to the farmhouse. He makes the younger brother stay where he is, though, in the shack. And so now he is safely ensconced in the farmhouse, and he has all of the land and the stone cottage, and his crops are still not prospering, and he does not know why. And so he is determined to watch that younger brother further, because there must be something else that's going on. And the seasons roll on again. Summer, autumn, winter, spring. And he sees once more the younger brother head on up the hill. The younger brother who now has 2 cows, 2 chicken sheds, 2 sows. He even has a much improved shack. He wonders, what is he doing? He sees the bunch of primroses and he watches them as he walks up towards what is now 2 trees on the hill. And he lays the primroses at the bottom and he sings to the green women. 2 green women of the 2 ash trees, dance with me, dance with me. 2 green women of the 2 ash trees, bless this farm and all within. The middle brother watches on astounded as the younger brother dances with these 2 glorious fairy-like green women, and he looks and he thinks, magic. That is magic on my land, and I cannot have that. And as his brother before him did, he went to retrieve his axe, and he marched up to the top of that hill, and he starts to strike the tree, which screams in fury just as its sister had. Screaming, the air is filled with a storm and the wind, and even though this brother is not going to fall for the fate that the older one did, he stands well clear when he's hewed this tree. It's no good. The wind whips it round and twists it and lands it flat on him, flat to the ground. And this time there is no need for a coffin, for the middle brother has made his own in the ground. Well, now there is just 1 tree. And now the younger brother is not just sorrowful for the loss of a second brother. He also mourns the loss of a second glass stick, and he hopes that this will not bring a drought or a famine for the rest of the farm. He does move into the farmhouse and he starts to put right the things that the 2 other brothers did wrong. Soon the fields are abundant once more with the crops, and he makes plenty of money as a farmer. In the spring he goes up to the tree and he places primroses at the base of the tree and he sings, "Green woman of the old ash tree, dance with me, dance with me. Green woman of the old ash tree, bless this farm and all within." And of course the green woman does. He lives a lucky and long life. He takes a wife and he has a very successful farm. There is still, to that day, only 1 tree on the hill. It is now known as 1 tree farm, not 3 tree farms. But as long as all who are within it go up each spring to that 1 ash tree and place primroses at the base of it and sing to the green women, then that farm will continue to prosper. hope you like that story. That's my version of the Green Woman of the Hill. I like that story because it reminds us of our roots in nature, which is, after all, what this is all about, isn't it? It makes us think just a little about why things might be happening for us. Karma, perhaps you could call it. The path that we walk through life and the decisions that we make as we're doing that. And perhaps the roots that our ancestors put down before us. They're all there in that ash tree. So I hope you enjoyed the story. And I will see you next time. Toodle pip.